In the book of Romans, chapter 12, we were told, encouraged, begged that we would present our bodies a living sacrifice, which is the least reasonable thing we can do. So as we do that, we take the members of our body, and all of this is in response to what God has already done. And so God has taken all of humanity that is sinful and guilty before God in contrast to the law. The law is the standard of perfection. Whether it be the law, the 613 commandments in the Old Testament, whether it be the law, the 10 commandments in the book of Exodus, whether it be the law in Hosea that says 3 different things we can do, whether it's the law summarized by Jesus in the Gospels as 2 things, love God and love people. We just can't keep it perfectly. We can't keep and hold to the standard of the glory of God in that perfection of the law. And so Jesus comes on the scene and He fulfills the law perfectly. He obeys it to the T. And we see as we're going through the book of Romans, you have the application there in chapter 12, and we are called to present our bodies, again, the least reasonable thing we can do. The response to all that God has done for you is to present your bodies as a sacrifice. And so the members of your body include every aspect of your body, not just the outside parts that we can see, but also your will, your strength, your heart, your mind. And right now we live in volatile times. I just find it interesting, the times that we're living in, times of uncertainty as far as the world concerned. And it would be one thing if it was local. It'd be one thing if this was a Garden Grove issue or an Orange County thing or a California thing, right? Or a United States thing. But what we're living in right now is a world thing. We know that the enemy comes to rob, kill, and destroy, and we see a lot of people are walking in fear. And I ask myself the question, is fear real? And the answer is no, it's not. It's born inside of us. It's developed inside of us. From the outside it comes in. And it's an attack. Because God doesn't want you to live in fear. God doesn't want me to live in fear. God wants you to live in peace and in joy. And in an understanding that He is on the throne and He is in charge and He is in control. And so the test of your faith will come. And even if the whole world is moving in one direction, if you are sitting at the feet of Jesus, if you are trusting that God has a great and wonderful plan for your life, then your response, even though the world might be looking like it's heading in one direction, your response may be very different because you're doing what God is teaching us here in the book of Romans. So it's not so much how you feel, we mentioned at Romans 12, and it's not so much what you do, but it's in this transformation that God wants to do a work from the inside out. And then your feelings are going to match what God wants them to be, and your actions are going to honor God as you're doing the right things for the right reasons. And so you have to be very careful because the enemy is very good at what he does in wanting to rob, kill, and destroy. And when it's all said and done, you and I have a destiny with death. We're all going to die. Some are going to die from a virus, and some are going to die from old age, and some of us are going to be raptured. And we're going to go meet the Lord in the air, and that's going to be the end of this life. And then real life starts. And the good stuff begins. What we were created for. I was thinking about heaven. Take everything good, everything wonderful, everything that is just awesome in life, every just beautiful thing that you've ever experienced from the perspective of God, from the filter of the purity of what God intended for His creation. Take all of that and then remove sin and you have heaven. Man, Lord, you got wonderful things to... I thought we were going to be in heaven like on clouds, Lord, with like harps for eternity, just plucking harps. God, I thought we were going to be on clouds. No. No, you think that's what God has in store for you in heaven? In eternity? Forever and ever and ever and ever? Again, the beautiful, wonderful, most precious things that you've experienced on earth, pale in comparison to what God has in store for you. And that's heaven removes sin. Imagine that. And then it's multiplied by a zillion, billion, gazillion, whatever number you can come up with, infinity in your head.